us having some choices, you know. Uh,
And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
So that's our life mission. That's the McShin's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Like, okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
We don't want to start a business in order for the business to fail. We want to start a business and be able to maintain it. The idea is you got to have a plan. I don't know what some of y'all thinking. In the next 10 years, I might be dead. But suppose you don't die. Man, I know some people right today, 70 years old, 75 years old, and they struggling. They struggling because they didn't have a plan. I mean, it ain't, you don't know whether you're going to live or die. You know? So you have to take that in consideration. Suppose I live, and you know, I'm only telling my own personal story. For y'all that don't know, I said it before, I'm 71 years old. 71 years old. They got my driver's license up there, October the 20th, 1951. You know? Graduated from high school in 1969. Yeah. When I was 30 years old, I didn't think I was going to live to see 40. The way I was running. Hey, won't he do it? In and out of jail 5-6 times. That's all I knew was jail talk. Dude, you might be dead in the next 40 years. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen, man. It didn't happen, man. I come out of jail and I got with this program, and you know, the thing about recovery is that we come in here, thing about change is we have to do things that we are uncomfortable with. Have to do things that we are uncomfortable with. Man, let me tell you, I get information today from everywhere. But anyway, I was on YouTube, and I was listening to a dude on YouTube that had just came out of the penitentiary. And he says, look, this is what bothers me in my neighborhood. These people in my neighborhood are selective about who they would listen to. They're going to listen to the dude that's got a nice car, dude that's got a pocket full of money, a dude that's hustling. That's who they get their message from. You look at somebody like me and say, he's a square. He can't tell me nothing. Yeah. And then he flips it. He says, ain't no hustler are the smart and thought and critical thinking guys in our neighborhood, in our country. Those guys are the guys that's filling up the penitentiary. So you rather listen to somebody that's going to put you in the penitentiary than listen to somebody that's going to give you an out. Think about it. Think about it. You know, and John got a famous saying, you know, man, if you surround yourself with bums, you're going to act like a bum. You surround yourself with people in recovery, you're going to act like people in recovery. We need to hear something, man. The reason I asked you about what's going to be happening 10 years from now, I want to know, how are you going to grow? Are you going to stay the same the next 5 or 10 years? Yeah. Well, you got to have a plan. And then you got to have a strategy that go along with the plan. Because it ain't based on this. No, it ain't based on what you said. It's based on what you do. You know? And a whole lot of people, man, wonder how these guys can go, guys and girls, can in and out of jail 4, 5 times. I just, the magic word, I just mentioned it earlier because that's what you're comfortable with. That's what you're comfortable with. You ain't comfortable with going to school and learning nothing. You ain't comfortable with trying to grow. You comfortable with coming in and out of the jail. And then you despise it. I hate this mother. I hate this so-and-so. And they say, well, do something about it. The COs see you come in here and just lay down for 12 months, and they'll say in their mind, I'll see you when you get back. You know what I mean? And we bristle at that. We despise that. But so have made that true. We have made that true. This thing is about an inside job. Why are you here? Look at yourself. Most of us, man, oversell ourselves. Most of us try to be something that we are not. Take a look at yourself while you're here. You ain't got nothing else to do. Man, let me tell you how things flow. When I first got here, I thought about talking about feelings. Feelings. It's a feelings disease. I wanted to know how you feel today. I had already picked 2 words, bored and tired. Yeah, bored and tired. Those are the 2 words that I had picked. And I'm here to tell you, whoever would have said that, you ain't dead. You ain't dead from being bored or from being tired. Yeah, bring it home. You still here. You know? I had to throw that in because I got on another float. But what you have to understand, what we are doing here, man, with Chef Gregory, with John, what they're doing here, man, don't undersell yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. While you're here, pick up a word. You ain't got to pick up a whole paragraph. Just pick up a word or 2. You know? Patience, discipline, change. Just pick up a word or 2 to help you along. With that, I'm glad you're here. My daughter was like, where you at, jail? I'm in the jail. Yeah. My daughter was like, where you at, Dad? I said, I'm in the jail. I'm in the Henrico jail. You know what I'm saying? She said, 2 o'clock? I said, daughter, what you don't understand is this is a 2-way street for y'all that don't know. This is therapy for me. Yeah, this is therapy for me. Yeah. Some people show you how to do it. Some people show you how not to do it. The people that I see that's in here sleep, yeah, they showing me how not to do it. Yeah, how not to do it. I'm 71 years old, and you know what? In the state of Virginia, I still can go to jail. Yeah. It ain't based on how old you are. You know what I'm saying? It ain't based on this. It's based on your behavior. You know? With that, man, we've been bringing some dynamite speakers here. You know? If I remember correctly, I can't think of the guy name that was here the last time we was here. Novak. Renowned. Have y'all Googled him? Yeah. Oh, y'all ain't got no way to Google it. Yeah. But this is awesome, man. We bring you some people here, and I'm gonna introduce my co-worker and the co-founder of McShin. Man, this dude is a visionary. You know what I mean? And I like what he's doing, man. You know, I like what he's doing for y'all. I like what he's doing for me, and I like what he's doing for himself. I'm gonna hitch my wagon to his, and we're gonna ride. That's a clap. John Shinhauser.
Oh, well.
Love you, John.
All right, now, how we feeling? You know, it just dawned on me, the weather's going to be warm tomorrow and Wednesday especially. I'm going to go play golf. But I'm going to be lonely because 2 of my golfing buddies are in here. And they ain't going to be allowed out to play golf with me. So I'll be thinking of y'all as I'll be looking for my ball in the water and the weeds because they both can beat me too, man. That's the sad part about it. It should be the worst golfer goes to jail, not the best ones. But anyway, y'all know I'm John Shinholzer, president and co-founder of McShin Foundation, also an old-timer in recovery. I've been clean and sober over 40 years, and that's a long time. You know, I think service work is what keeps me clean. My very first sponsor told me in 1982 the only way I'm going to stay clean and sober if I do service work. And since I'd been arrested 12 times, 4 times in foreign country, he said, you might want to consider taking meetings in the jails and prisons. So for over 40 years, I've been carrying in meetings in jails and prisons, and it's just something magical about that. Therapeutic. I like that. So we've been coming in here a while. I think we brought some pretty good speakers in here, correct? I don't think we're going to disappoint nobody today either. But before we get into that, I just want to, once again, I cannot underscore the value of being in a facility that has a sheriff like Sheriff Gregory and the staff that she has in this facility, because you just can't walk into a jail and do these meetings. You got to have an open-minded sheriff that really cares about the population, and she does the best she can do to get the best services she can get based upon her ability and everything else that's involved. So how about a big hand for the sheriff for letting us come up in here? And I mean that. Let's do that hand one more time, because some of y'all won't clap it, man. Yeah. And you even on the front row. I could put you in the back, man. Come on, man. You know, Marshall said something in the beginning. I don't know if y'all picked up on that, but I tell you, if you surround yourself with recovering people, you're going to get recovering results. You surround yourself with non-recovering people, you're going to get non-recovering results. And I suggest while you're here, you find the recovering people. And you hang around the recovering people while you're here, because the chances are good when you re-enter, because 96% of you are going to re-enter, you'll probably you'll practice that principle as you re-enter. So y'all think about that. But anyways, the sheriff has heard our speaker before, so she's going to introduce our speaker. And while she introduces our speaker, of course, she's going to add her own words of wisdom. So come on up, Sheriff. That wasn't a very big clap for the sheriff.
That's okay.
I know.
I know they appreciate me. 3 squares and a roof over their head. I know they appreciate me. So look, I am so excited about the speaker that we have today. John actually blessed me with the book. I was sharing this. I might be double dipping on here. John blessed me with the book back in November. And so I read it, and it was a read. It was a read that a book. You ever read a book and picked it up and you highlight and you underline because there's such profound statements. And so I don't have that experience. I don't have recovery experience. I shared with y'all earlier in the year that I struggle with my weight, right? And so because I've struggled and haven't taken it serious, I have some health conditions that really are solely all on me. Things I could have done. High blood pressure, while it runs in my family, I could have better control. And so using some of the principles of the folks that come in here, I am down 7 pounds. Look at God, right? And just basically utilizing the same principles and some of the same guidance that's shared by these amazing speakers. And so Jimmy is from Arkansas, and so right now he is the proud son of Arkansas, right? But some years ago, he was the devil. And they probably would have liked to ship him to another state. Some of y'all, we want to push y'all to the next jurisdiction or to the next state so you don't keep coming back here. Well, Jimmy was that person. But with faith and God and really, really trusting and working the process, I'm not even going to steal his thunder. I'm in awe of what this man has done. And besides every great man is a great woman, right? Some of y'all haven't got there yet. Y'all get that when y'all get out. But, you know, and sometimes it's not when you expected it and not when you're looking for it. So pay attention to his story. Like, his message is so profound. It speaks beyond these windows and walls and doors. It is a message of hope that anybody can associate with, pick up with, and take and make things better. So with that, and before I go, is there anybody that has a birthday this month in February? This is a short month. All right, so I have books for all of you that have birthdays. And so I would love to be able to give every single person a book. And so I will. All the birthday people, I got y'all. I think I got enough. And this is thanks to John. John keeps giving, right? But what we're going to do is I've purchased on my own 4 books, and I've passed them out and shared them with folks. And so I hope you do the same. You read and you pay it forward and pass it and share this with somebody else. And with that, I turn it over to Jimmy.
Thank you, Sheriff. I got it. How y'all doing? So I want to, first off, thank you, Sheriff, for letting someone like me have access to the jail to speak to you wonderful people. I want to say this before we even get started. I have had the chance to fly all over the country and stand on stages with presidents, stand on stage with addicts who are new in recovery, CEOs. I have spoken audiences everywhere, and I'm here to tell you that you are the most important audience that I could stand in front of. Now, the difference between me and some of the other phenomenal speakers that you've had, and I'm not knocking any of them, but I believe I was custom built for this. I believe that this room sits men and women who are uniquely called for a fight the rest of the world's not strong enough to take on. See, each one of you have been forged by some flames that would burn normal society's ass up. And instead of being engulfed and perishing in those flames, you're being refined so that when you emerge from that fire, you are the strongest version of yourself imaginable. So when society says we're a population of people that's unreachable and teachable, I'm telling you they're full of crap, right? And I say that to say this. I've got a great life today, right? So let me introduce myself. My name's Jimmy McGill, and today I've been clean for 7 years, 11 months, and 10 days. I'm a diehard 12-step person. I go to recovery. I have a sponsor. I have a sponsee brother who's in here doing time right now. This is what's worked for me. I've got a wife who I love. We've started a nonprofit. I wrote a book called From Prison to Purpose. I've got a 40-bed facility that houses men coming out of the joint, right? I've got a son who loves everything about me. He has a game room, and I didn't steal nothing in it. You know what I mean? I've got a government career, but it wasn't like that. See, 7.5 years ago, I came home from the penitentiary for the 6th time. So when I started my journey, I literally thought noodles and cigarettes was currency. What I'm telling you. My line of communication was a fishing string and some soap. That's how I knew how to talk, right? So let me tell you what I do this for. I do this because I don't want to fix your new TV with a butter knife, right? And today is not culture to talk about the drug use, okay? But listen, that's why I'm here. I get it. They don't want us to talk about the substances and this and that, but that's not the reality of it, right? The dope is what put me in insanity and institutions. And so in order for me to maintain the recovery I've got today, then I've got to remember what brought me here, okay? So I carry this message because I don't want to spend 6 hours geeking on a box of phone chargers for a phone I ain't even got. How many of y'all know about that? See, I don't know what kind of drugs y'all do up here, but in Arkansas, we're famous for gang banging and methamphetamines. That's it. And you know how it is. We get to thinking that we know how to do everything better, so we wanted to batch our own up. So every documentary we've got is based on methamphetamines, right? And so I spent the majority of my life I couldn't wait for the paranoia. Now, I know I'm not the only person that put one in them, and all of a sudden, as soon as you put one in you, everybody in the room start talking about you. Huh? They ain't opened their mouth, ain't said a damn word, but they communicate, and they look like they're talking about you right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And the insanity kicks in. Then all of a sudden, I'm seeing messages and some shit that ain't even there. Like the different shades and patterns, man. And now can't nobody in the house move because everybody's in a hostage situation because I couldn't wait to go crazy. Can y'all relate? Right? So that's the type of person I am. And no matter how good my life gets, I can never forget that. I'm that guy who fixed a brand new iPhone with a butter knife. That's me. That's the insanity that my drug use takes me to. And I am only clean because I've got a God that can turn broken pieces into a masterpiece. That's it. That's it. And the sheriff heard the other night, I'm going to tell y'all some stories, man, and I'm going to share some recovery with you. And ladies, I'm here to tell you I wasn't good at anything but getting high and getting caught. That's it. I was Arkansas's worst criminal. And by the time I'm through sharing my story with you, you'll agree there might be some in here worse than me, and we could probably write the next book together. You know? I came from a broken environment. I want to share a little bit about my childhood, about my addiction journey, but I do that to do this. In order for you to truly know what God carried me out of, you need to understand the mess that I was in to begin with. See, my father was a generation before me in addiction. And I don't know if you ever watched any gangster movies, but my dad was a real live convict. He wasn't scared of anything. He didn't care about law enforcement. He didn't care about consequences. I watched my father get arrested for rape charges. I watched him get arrested for a murder charge. I watched the police storm my house because he shot a guy in the chest with a 12 gauge. By the time I was 12 years old, I was bagging up dope. I knew how to work scales. He taught me everything about his lifestyle, right? Can anybody relate to that? Right? Violence was the only language my pop spoke, and he spoke it very fluently, right? So when I say I came from a broken home, I mean that to the fullest. I never saw a happy home until the day I broke into one. And the resentment and the jealousy and the anger that I felt, all I wanted to do was destroy, man. Because, see, I had been violated by the man that should have loved me. He left me, right? I needed a father and he needed a syringe, man. And that was the atmosphere that I grew up in. And so by the time I'm 11 years old, I'd already stabbed a kid. I'd already shot the neighbor. And I didn't shoot him because I was thugging and gunning. I shot him because I was left unattended playing with a damn gun and shot the neighbor's kid. And I'll never forget it, man. The babysitter was a couple of houses up fooling around. And this kid is running back and forth. And he got blood gushing. I'm trying to shush him like it was shh. You know, insanity, man. And so it wasn't long before I ended up following in my father's footsteps. Now, at 14 years old, I get locked up. I'm from North Little Rock, Arkansas, and a lot of states refer to us as gangbang wonderland. We've had several HBO documentaries about gangbanging in Little Rock. I grew up gangbanging. When I came out of training school after 2 years, I was a highly active gang member. I got a gang file as thick as that table over there. I was a gang member of a predominant black gang because I like extra attention. See, other people's opinion mattered more to me than my own opinion about myself, right? And so At 16 years old, coming out of juvenile prison after 2 years, I had twice as much to prove. And since I was the only white guy in the clique, I had to jump stupid twice as fast as anybody else because I was trying to show off twice as much. I turned 17. I got arrested for indulging in criminal gang activity, discharge of a firearm from a moving vehicle, and turned 18 on my way to Varner Supermax in 1995. So I learned one thing from that prison trip. There was nothing in prison for me to be scared of. And I'm sure a lot of you guys understand what I'm saying. I did not stop doing time until I was 38 years old. Now, I was a good dope fiend. I knew how to steal everything that wasn't tied down and serve everything smoking, right? And so I'm going to tell you a couple of stories so that you understand that I went to any length to get and find a way and a means to use and get more, because using was the driving force of my life. It didn't matter, man. And I was going, if I couldn't finesse you, I was robbing, right? And so I was the type of dope fiend that I'll sell you a bag of cut with some engine spray on it, then do the cut with you so you didn't think I was the guy that screwed you over, right? Like I went that extra mile. And so one day I'm going to get up, I'm going to do what we do. We go hit licks, right? That's how we got to get down. And so I'm driving 150 miles way over here in the country, this little place called El Paso. And I go in there and I hit this lick. I go in the house, I steal all the DVDs. So back then they had a store called Hastings. Y'all ever heard of Hastings? They got those up here? So Hastings was a bookstore, and you could sell your DVDs in this bookstore, right? And so I go in there and I lay all these DVDs. Now I go 150 miles this way and I burglarize the house. I hit the lick. So I'm going to be smart today because I'm not going to use the bathroom in my own yard, right? So I'm going to go 150 miles in the opposite direction to sell them. Y'all with me? You following me? Smart criminal, right? I'm thinking this thing through. Now what I didn't know was God had a different plan. What happened, I went into Hastings. I laid all those DVDs down. I said, man, I need to sell all these. I gave him my ID. He said, it's too much money. I don't have this much in the register. So he called his manager out. His manager comes over. He says, hey, man, I got that one. And he turned the page and he said, man, you got good taste in Japanimation. He said, I got that same movie. And he turned the page and he said, whoa, I got this same collection. He said, man, where did you get these? I said, they're mine. You know, I'm angry now because he's questioning me. Out of all the houses I could have broke into, yeah, damn. Out of all the stores I could have went to, I sold that man his own stuff and got 7 years for it. Bad luck. That's God had a sense of humor is what that is. Out of 3 million houses in Arkansas and 27 Hastings, and I got 300 miles between the two, how am I going to rob the store manager's house and try to sell him his own stuff, right? I go home, I come home, I go to prison, I come home, I go hit another lick. I take a couple of henchmen with me because I'm a lazy thug, right? And so they're in the house cleaning house, and we did it so much we used to call it doing chores, right, because we'd clean you out. And so I got them carrying the safe out, and I'm going to take a smoke break because I'm a smart crook. So I'm in these folks' garage, and they don't smoke cigarettes. They don't smoke, ladies. Yeah, man, how you just telling my story? Was you with me? So I throw the cigarette down, and guess what they arrest me for? DNA. 7 years. Yeah. Now, both times there was this cop named Kirk Lane that arrested me. And so he's head of the narcotics over the CID, which is the Criminal Investigation Division. The next thing you know, I come home from that bid, and I live in the projects. I'm the only white guy for 17 blocks, and so I sell to a CI. I step out on the porch. I'm fresh out the joint. I got prison ink on both arms. I'm in a wife beater, and I sell to a confidant. Now, how long you think it took them to ID me? 7 years. Guess who arrested me? Kirk, same cop. Okay, so you see the repetitious what I'm doing here. Now I went to the joint 6 times. My thinking ability never got any better. Now you'll read in the book that I also had an underground music career, right? Like, and there's pictures of me and Jelly Roll in there, me and Haystack, me and Little White, Bubba Sparks, Big Smo. Like, I made music with all these cats all over the South. Yeah, pictures in the book. You know what I mean? So along this line of my last bid, I get an email from a girl who had been following my music. And she said, man, J-Bo, I ain't seen you in a while. You're not on social media, yada, yada, yada. And I said, ooh, commissary, right? Immediately went to gassing her. I can hit her for a lick. And so I start writing her, and I'm telling some good lies. You know how we pillow talk through the pen, right? And the next thing you know, y'all laughing like you got some of them letters. Next thing you know, she gets me. Now, I'm fighting a pending dope charge on my 6th trip to the joint. And so she gets me into a recovery house, a lot like the McShin Foundation. And I'm knowing with my criminal history, at this point in my life, I got 19 felony convictions. There's no way I'm going to make the board with 19 felony convictions and 6 trips to prison, right? And so she gets me accepted into this treatment center, and this is how I got tricked into recovery. So I don't have any desire to stay clean, y'all. I'm coming home from the penitentiary. I've been locked up on a parole violation for the last 9 months. You know what's on my mind. It's day one. Come on, big dog. You know what you're trying to do when you go home. I need something to hold me, right? And so she calls me and she says, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to come and we're going to go to the meeting. Well, in my mind, I thought going to a 12-step meeting meant we're going to go to the park and do the nasty. Yeah, that ain't what happened, though. She really took me to a meeting, right? And so I sat in there rocking on my hands, mad as hell, just looking at her. But there was a little bit of hope in me because I thought maybe she's going to take me to the meeting after the meeting. Maybe we're going to the park when the meeting's over, right? And it didn't work that way. But what I did was I heard something new from people like you, from people like me, and I believed it, right? I heard a message of hope. And so all of a sudden I'm in this atmosphere and I'm hearing these things that I identify with, and I want to share this with you because it's what I took away from that first meeting. If you want a life that you've never known, you got to do some shit you never did to get it. And I was tired of doing time. See, I felt like I'd been born in a picket, man. I was institutionalized. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to have a successful relationship. My idea of a man was, if you owe me a box of noodles, we're fighting, bro. Like, and that's insanity. And then we got the nerve to say, man, I got to be a man. Somebody got to take care of my family. Ain't nobody taking care of your family. Right? But in my mind, I didn't even have a family. You know? And then I'm down there telling lies like I'm riding around on 6.4s on 28s. And, man, I had a bus pass, man. But, you know, you can be anything when you're incarcerated. Right? And so all of a sudden I'm realizing how powerless I really was over the disease of addiction. See, it never did it occur to me that it was the drugs. But when I heard another person who I was willing to listen to, who had the same gang-affiliated tattoos, who looked like me, who talked like me, who understood the flames of what I came from, then all of a sudden the message hit different. It hit different when it was one of my own. The message never changed. The person carrying the message did. And that's why you guys are uniquely called to fight a fight that the rest of the world can't. There's prisons all over the states that are only going to listen to people like us. Right? And so I'm getting involved in recovery, and I'm learning how powerless I was over addiction, right? And they're telling me things like I'm living with something that's incurable, fatal, and progressive. right? And they're telling me that even when you want to stop, you won't be able to stop. Well, I had 2 arms full of track marks that proved that was true. I was living with hepatitis C because I want to be the guy digging syringes out of trash cans after I threw them away. I want to straighten the point back out till I hear it go. Can y'all relate to that? That makes sense to anybody else? I know I'm not the only guy sharpening the point on a matchbox. Huh? I the only one dug him out the trash? Right? I really was caught in the grip. I really was unmanageable. And then I'm sitting there, I got 9 months clean, man, and I'm doing step work with my sponsor, and I'm in a chem-free house, right? And I can't believe how amazing my life is because I'm clean. I done got a hold of something new, man. And listen, you always had hope. But we want to get here, we want to be like, listen, I don't want to tell this guy all my stuff. I don't want to put that work in. Listen, it's harder staying high than it is staying clean. It's hard work hitting licks. You know? It's hard work having to hustle and lie and create stuff. But that's the type of ingenuity we come with. We get up every morning, homeless, ain't got a pot to piss in, and we finish the day with an 8-ball in a hotel room. That's the type of hustle we come with. Listen, let me tell you what sponsorship and recovery taught me. If you're sleeping on somebody's couch, you homeless. That is not your roommate. If you giving somebody a shot of dope for a ride, you do not co-own that car. That is not yours. You are transportationless. And I'm learning this through a process of the 12 steps. You know what I mean? And so I'm on fire for recovery, and I'm like, man, I'm living great. And he's like, man, you're unmanageable. Unmanageable? What the hell are you talking about, man? This is the first time in my life, Sheriff, I'm not high. I ain't hit no lick. I ain't robbed nobody, kidnapped nobody. I ain't zip-tied nobody. I'm living good. My sponsor looked at me and laughed, man. He said, bro, you're in a chem-free house with a pending dope charge, on parole, you don't have a driver's license, and you got an ankle monitor on. I said, shit, I am unmanageable. You know what I mean? But I couldn't see it. My perception was shot. I'd been stuck in insanity so long that the abnormal had become my normal reality. And listen, man, I know that when we get high, it changes the way we feel. I get it. But it is insanity to think we can take a substance and put it inside of us and change the circumstances around us. That's insanity. And so I'm learning how to live without using. And so that's the greatest gift that recovery has let me have today, is today I get to go through things and I don't have to act out on them, no matter how bad it gets, right? And so I want to share a little bit of what my life looks like today. Because, see, I got on fire when I came home for recovery. And I was not in that, oh, I don't have no hope. Because, see, if you're sitting in here, you always have some hope, right? Any of y'all ever had the dope man run off with your money? Come on, tell the truth. Raise your hand. You had some hope he was coming back, didn't you? Knowing you did 2 shots of that bunk-ass dope, you was hoping the second one got you high, right? I don't want to tell my sponsor all the truth about what I'm doing, but I'll tell the dope man anything he need to hear. Boy, I should be home at 5. You know how we do it, right? And so I get on fire for recovery, man. I start trying something new. Bro, I was homeless. I was in and out of prison, man. There's not a cell in my county jail that don't have my name scratched in it. I made dice out of toothpaste, traffic 2 for 1, 3 for 1s. I did all of it. Keistered cigarettes in there, ain't a lick in the penitentiary I didn't hit. I got 15 years for a shank one time while I was doing time, man. I'm telling you the truth. This is as real and authentic as it's going to get, man. And when we go home, it's either A or B. You're either coming back or you're not. Man, there ain't no skating. There's no in between. None of that. And so I get on fire for recovery. I'm living this new life. I'm working steps. I'm going to meetings. I've got this new hope. And all of a sudden, John, I get invited to come share my story at a public event. And it's me. Now, I'd only been clean for like 2 years at the time, something like that. I'm still on parole. I've been fighting a charge the whole time that I've been home. And it's the head of the DEA, the head of the FBI for my state, the governor's senior liaison. These are the people that I'm sharing the lineup with. And I'm up there in a shirt that says Dopeless Hope Fiend or something like that. And I got my hat on backwards, right? And I'm sharing the stage with all these influential people. And guess who else was up there? Come on. You almost said it. Bill Clinton. Kirk. But Kirk was no longer a cop. Kirk had been appointed as the drug czar. Now, that's a big title. But the governor had just appointed him as the drug czar, which meant he was over all law enforcement, treatment, prevention, and recovery. I ain't know nothing about any of that. All I knew is I was an addict staying clean. I was living a good life. I got treatment for my Hep C. I was Hep C free. I was on top of the world. And I shared, and I got up there, and I cracked jokes on Kirk in front of all of them. And everybody laughed, and the crowd went crazy. And the next thing you know, Kirk Lane invited me to go all over the state with him sharing recovery. This is the same dude that put the cuffs on me, man. He held me accountable for the licks I hit, and he put me in prison, right? And now I'm sharing cops and robbers with a happy ending with this dude, man. And the next thing you know, he offers me a job. So in 2018, I become the first parolee to take a state position. That's the message I'm bringing to you. I know that they don't see what you're worth right now. I know that you may not be able to see your potential. And when when the correction guards was walking me out the door for my 6th time from Newport Prison, they didn't see me sharing the stage with Bill Clinton. But I did 2 months ago. Right? Yeah. They couldn't see what I couldn't see. My sponsor told me, he said, write a list of what you want in a year if you stay clean. My list, I needed $60 from, y'all got Metro up here? How many of y'all got a Metro now? Boy, you better not raise your hands. I needed $60 for a Metro phone bill. I needed to pay my rent at my Kim-free house. And I needed cigarette money. That was all I wanted in my first year of recovery. I couldn't see it. I literally went from homeless to homeowner, man. The 12 steps took me from handcuffs to cufflinks, man. I went from giving somebody a bump for a ride to picking which car I want to drive. You know, life is really, it really is what I'm telling you it is, right? And so I get this state career. I'm on parole, right? I flatten out my parole. I only been out of prison 7.5 years. Right now, I've been home 7.5 years. I came home from the joint August of 2015, right? 6 months ago, I received a full pardon with firearm rights, right? What I'm telling you is there's nothing special about me. If I can do it, you can do it. And if I can have a career doing this right here, so can you. And I'm telling you, there is no stronger breed of people in the world than you. This is what you're called to do. You're called to go back in there because somewhere there's a kid just like you who won't listen to anybody but you. And your lived experience is invaluable. And recovery is the only thing that will take every mistake you made and turn it into on-the-job training. Every embarrassing thing, think about it. Think about that thing right now in your head that's so embarrassing that you don't want to say it out loud. Let me ask you this. Now that you got that thing in your head, was it drug related? Recovery can take that shame and that humiliation and give you purpose and give you drive and turn every mistake into meaning, man. That's what this does. It's the identification process. When the message comes from someone like you, the fear of being judged is removed. I don't mind talking about the things I did to get dope because you did the same thing, if not worse. People can and do recover, man. And that's what I need you to understand. I get to live my life by a set of principles today, and I'm not perfect, man. I am far from perfect. Listen, I've got several promotions along the ride. I went from a state coordinator to now I'm the director of the Office of Recovery for the state of Arkansas. Kirk no longer works for the state, right? I've got a full staff. Guess what my staff looks like? They got gang-related face tattoos and DHS. Got state badges and little state cars. Half of them still waiting on us to steal the cars. It's all right, though. There's hope. And you're not what they say. Last year, 107,000 people died from a drug overdose. I can promise you, so many of those people needed help. So many of those people needed someone to talk to. So many of those people tried to get help and the resources weren't there. Your lived experience makes you a resource. How many of you, listen, let me ask y'all this. How many of you ever woke up one morning and felt like you had a purpose, a deeper calling, and you couldn't explain what it was? Now you know what it is. You're called to take your story and use it for a key to unlock the mental prisons of other people. That's what we do. That's what you do. That's what we're for. Those fires that engulfed you, they didn't burn you and destroy you. They refined you. That shit was on the job training, dog, for a unique qualification only you've got. And I can't wait to see you guys up here doing what I'm doing. I can't wait till John calls me up to McShin and you guys come up and say, hey, man, remember me, man? You came spoken, boy, brought that heat, boy. I'm going to be like, I remember you. I probably won't, but I'm going to pretend I do because I do this a lot, you know. But I'm excited, and I think that's it, Sheriff. I don't think, you want me to take some questions? You guys got any questions? No questions? Everybody fixed?
But once you get them going, man, they got good ones. Y'all know what the Office of Recovery is for a state? All states, most states have an Office of Recovery. We got one here in Virginia. But think about what he's doing down there. He's trying to staff this thing out with people with lived experience. And guess who's got the best lived experience? I'm looking at him. You know, some of y'all took some peer training along the way, didn't you? How many of y'all took some peer training and whatnot? See, you're a future director. You might want to start handing some cards out while you're here. What'd you think? Not bad. I mean, come on. Got to be hoping there somewhere. Now that's good news. You can really get things done, but the bad news is they don't pay that good. He told me what he made, and I'm thinking, hell, I ain't sure I can live off of that, Jimmy. How we doing? How the ladies today? Who's the next one getting out? Who gets out in another week or two? Where y'all going when you get out? You going to recovery house? You still looking? Where you going? Huh? Pittsburgh? Lynchburg. They got good recovery in Lynchburg. You ever been? They got recovery houses up there. Roads of Recovery. You go check in with Roads of Recovery. You didn't think I knew them, did you? And when you get out, if you don't have nowhere to go, I can guarantee if you can walk across our park, we can probably help you out and get you somewhere. Oh, heck. What's that dude's name? Why's it got to be a guy? Why couldn't it be? Oh, yeah, the recovery czar. Oh, he said, don't worry, he'll take you? All right, I'm going to take you over there when you get out. Sheriff, I'm going to take him over to Tillins when she gets out. I'd like to see him do for you what McShin was going to do for you. I'll see you about a week after you get there. Don't tell Michael I was cutting on him. What guys get out next? Where are you going? Home? Where's home? Richmond? You got, what day you get out on? The 16th? You know where your meeting is that night? You know what meeting you're going to that night? RBHA? They don't have meetings at RBHA. What 12-step meeting you going to? I'm going to tell you where you're going to be on the 17th. If you don't hit the meeting on the 16th, he's going to be coming to wishing he'd have hit a meeting. You got a question? Do what now? Oh, you trying to get a program to get out. Yeah, see, you've been to court yet? See, that's a whole different animal. If you got a court case, just go see the judge. Say, Judge, Your Honor, guilty as charged, man. I want to save the taxpayer some money, though. Could you please send me to a program, something like Salvation Army, Healing Place, whatever you can afford. You know, it's a different animal when you're trying to, you know, get out, go somewhere for a court case, make it look good. They're hard to get. And y'all know that, right? You know, the best way to get something that you can afford is to go and do your time, get that out the way. But tell the judge, don't give me a whole lot of time now. I mean, you know, ask for time served. Them judges, they really ain't trying to put you away. They really are trying to get you into services, whether you know it or not. Huh? I can't hear with all this talking going. When you get out, you come see us, and we probably put you in the house. That's the best way to get there. What's your name? Smartly.
You said, how about what? I have not, Sheriff. I'm still trying to find out. You said, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Ah.
Okay, thank you.
What's up, man? Now everybody wants to get out of jail, man. Y'all need to embrace this opportunity.
Well, listen, so you just said, it was an interesting fact that you just said. You said the judge would like to, you know, send us home or, you know, work with us before they put us away. So
Yeah.
I heard about, is it really like a form of what they believe in, rehabilitate over incarcerate? Is that what you're saying?
There's a theme taking place in this community.
Yeah.
A lot of these judges, they would much rather, if you are recoverable, okay, if you're not that far gone, if they don't think you're going to be a massive public safety threat, they would much rather see you get some form of recovery, re-entry into society that way, than just cut you loose cold or send you up the river.
That's interesting. So when I go to court March, I should be able to, like, try
I don't know your case specifically, but a lot of folks, if you sit here long enough, these time served,
yes.
a lot of times they'll accept that and say, okay, you've been there a while, you did the program.
That's right.
It does show well to do this program. You still got 3 phases?
Yes, we do.
If you come up here and sit through 3 phases and you can demonstrate to the court that you're going the right direction, I think a lot of these judges, man, they'll give you that liberty and freedom to see what you can and can't do.
I believe in it.
Yeah, I do too. I've seen miracles in a courtroom before. Matter of fact,
Hey, just recently.
I mean, look at Jimmy. Jimmy ain't supposed to be here technically.
Yeah.
He should still be in prison. I think the point is, one point is, look, you got to have a recovery action plan. If you're just going to get out on the 16th, I'm glad you're going to RBHA, but if you're going back to Snooky or wherever you come from, you're going to probably repeat, you know. So don't be afraid of a recovery action plan. You know, don't be afraid to chase recovery either.
You remember when Brandon was here, Brandon Novak was
Yeah.
here, and he said we could get in touch with him.
Yeah.
Do you remember how to get
Google
in
him when you get out, man.
get
Yeah,
out.
he's up in Delaware.
Yeah, Wilmington. Yeah,
Yeah.
family up there.
Huh? Well, yeah, he's easy to find. You can Google him. He's up there. I got I know the name of his place. I can help you out.
Right, yeah, because I want to know some different information because we tried to get in touch with him up there, but
Yeah.
my brother didn't know anything about what he had told us.
It's hard, but let me tell you this. Y'all ever hear about that addict from New Kent that did time here? And he was looking for the ultimate high, and he heard the ultimate high was from Baba Fat's, and Baba Fat lives in the Himalayas. So this addict man from New Kent, he goes to the Himalayas, he goes across the ocean, jumps a freighter, gets across the ocean, jumps a train, gets to wherever the Himalayas are, catches a goat ride up to this monastery, and there's Baba Fat's, right? He's sitting around with all these other little monks, and the addict man goes to Baba Fat's and says, hey, look, I'm looking for the ultimate high. And Baba Fat said, you come to the right person. The ultimate high comes from within. It's peace and serenity. It's finding yourself and being okay with who you are and what you're doing. And the addict man, he pulls out a knife, threatened to cut his throat, and said, look here, fat boy, I want to know where the ultimate high is. Baba Fat, he panics. He said, look, the ultimate high is go back where you come from, go across the United States, catch a boat across the Pacific. You go to this island down by, Tahiti on the 7th moon of the 10th year. This little plant gets a purple flower. You smoke that, and that's the best stuff you'll ever do. And the guy runs off all happy, high-fiving the little monks on the way out. And Baba Fat looks at everybody and says, imagine that. Somebody want to know a bunch of bullshit to know the truth. So what I'm saying is if you seek out Brandon in those houses, but you'll find what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Don't give up, man. If you go, I'll give you, matter of fact, you get out, you come see me, I'll try to get them on the phone for you. I'll do that. I'm easy to find. I'm over at McShin almost 7 days a week.
Y'all update me, but didn't they just pass a law like in last July where you do 65% of your time? Yeah. Based on your behavior and your crime.
Got a hand up.
Yeah, based on your behavior and your crime. And if you was thinking like I was when you was in here, you would have said, oh, they should have been did that. No, they shouldn't. They don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? They want to put you in here, and just like Jimmy said, they want to put you in here and destroy you. Yeah, they want to break you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But what John was saying, man, this is a sort of a trend going on now. People have understood, some people understand that if you in here 5 times and all about drugs, you need some help. You're not a serious criminal. You need some help,
I'm wondering about getting in the recovery house. I have Medicaid, 1 paycheck, and a car title. Is there a way to get in a recovery house off of those 3 things?
On what?
A car title, Medicaid, and a small paycheck, like $400, $400 or $500. But I don't have $3,500
I didn't hear.
for a program.
He has a paycheck, a car title, and Medicaid.
Medicaid.
Well, look, most people, look, man, you come see me when you get out, I'll help you get in the recovery house. So I don't need that other stuff. That's Latin to me, man.
Car title. We'll find something.
Got a hand up in the back. I don't know if anybody else got one up. I think y'all like this quality time with each other. That's what I think, man.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm Ron. Jimmy mentioned that he's the director of
Office of Recovery for the state of Arkansas.
For the state of Arkansas. What is that cognizant agency here in Virginia? Is that mental health? Is that social services? What is that agency?
Originally, it was supposed to be an Office of Recovery for Substance Use Disorders, but they have mental health and substance use disorders. Recovery from 1 or 2 of those or both.
Is there an Office of Recovery here?
Yeah, it's downtown. Yeah, the director's Mark Blackwell. He's a man in recovery himself. They've had that office for quite a few years. and they just started building it out. They probably got dozens of employees, and like the theme this year from the office is Year to Peer, Virginia Year to Peer. You guys are peers. If you get into the recovery space, you're a peer in recovery. So like Jimmy said, you don't realize you guys already qualify to be a peer support specialist in the state of Virginia. All you got to do is take a 72-hour class, hang out with the recovery person for 400 hours, go get your certificate. You can get a job today. They're paying $20, $25 an hour right now for those, you know. And we're fighting at the General Assembly to get the barrier laws removed so you can be a state employee, you know. So a lot of people are working real hard for you guys and girls, whether you know it or not. So I would much rather chase my recovery and chase drugs, you know. I would much rather chase my recovery than chase drugs, you know. I get up every day. When I wake up in the morning, to this day, the first thing I think about is that big lottery I probably ain't going to hit. Women I'll never have. But when my feet hit the floor, I say, God, your will, not mine, and I chase what I think God will is for me that day, and it's recovery. And you think about it. If you step out, you can do that here too. In one of those blocks you're in, 4, 5, 6, whatever your number is, you start chasing your recovery in there. And that's a learned habit, learned practice. You'll do it out here. But if you're in there bullshitting, you know, you're going to be back if you live. Especially if fentanyl's in your story, you know. Living going to be difficult.
I became an information seeker.
Information seeker, recovery information seeker.
When I realized how much I didn't know. I mean, like, I'm a certified peer recovery specialist. And Virginia
He's a beast.
Virginia has more certified peer recovery specialists than any other state on the East Coast.
Mm. Yeah. We got a lot.
So we at the table. We at the table, you know. Sharing out just like Jimmy doing, you know.
Why is this half so interactive and you guys are like on Xannies or something, man?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Y'all got pride in your recovery. Hell yeah.
Hey.
So what's up with that? Y'all gonna let them get away with that shit? Oh, hell, man. Hey, Chef, can I come back maybe once a week and volunteer to speak to these guys? Go back in the back? I think they need a little fire in their ass, man. Something wrong with this look. They all fired up. Yeah. I'll bring y'all some movies and videos, and I might even, you know, bring you some treats.
Hey, John, we got a question back here.
Huh?
We got a question back here.
Well, it's not really a question. I just would like to thank Mr. Jimmy for coming out to.
Yeah, Jimmy!
And let him know that his story definitely inspired me to take my recovery seriously. And on the behalf of the females that got the books, they want him to sign it if he could do so.
I'm sure the sheriff will let him sign it. Yeah. You know, Jimmy got his wife with him. Did you meet? It's Chelsea. Stand up, Chelsea. Yeah. Did he tell you the first thing she told him? Did he tell you that part? When he first met her, what she told him? When they first met, he was hitting on her at a meeting. And she looked at him and said, man, you better pull your pants up and turn that hat around right. Yeah. He said he didn't know what if he wanted to fight her or date her, you know. So, how you ladies doing? How y'all doing in your pod? Is it going good? Y'all learn anything? You get lots of motivational speakers coming up in there cheering you on? Wait a minute now, you used your word count already. Yeah. Hey, this lady, whoever's getting out on March, catch up with her down at RBHA. That's what I'm hearing. You want a relationship. Y'all put your Social Security checks together. Y'all getting
The
out
guy
of
with
hand
the,
now.
with the car title and the.
Oh. Yeah. All right, listen up. We're getting ready to close this thing out. Sheriff got some last words.
Okay.
Stop. No relationship.
I got to finish the program, but after I finish that, they are not going to cut me back to the street. I only got 6 months. They reduced my felonies to misdemeanors.
Amen.
But you have to have an IOP, and somebody wrote it on the back of our blackboard. IOP, I got 3 so far, height and 2 more. But anyway, I'm dealing with McShin, I'm dealing with the Journey House, I'm dealing with, what's that place, Cassidy? Mr. Ron Burton owns all these recovery houses. So, there's the ticket.
Yeah, amen.
All right, listen up.
So, I say this to tell you, listen, and it's real, right? Because right now we have one paid peer recovery specialist, and that peer recovery specialist is actually a Henrico County Sheriff's Office employee with benefits just like all of the rest of us. A certified peer. We are slated and got approved for 2 more positions. All right, what I'm looking at is peer recovery specialist experience and their ability to buy into our program and what we're doing and helping us move forward. There are possibilities out there. Like this is not BS. This is serious. For anybody that wants to take this on and right, we always say you keep it by giving it away, right? What better way? No, it's not the greatest paying job. Look at me. Like what I'm doing now, like I got several other options. I can make a lot more money, but not as fulfilling as this. Because people are my passion, and helping people to realize who they are and becoming the best that they can be, like that's better than money, you know? But you still need a job with benefits, so it works if you work it. So just know that there are truly options out there if this is your heart's desire and you put in the work. We're not selling you a pipe dream. This is serious. There are opportunities, but it's up to you. So you get out of it what you put in it. So just remember that. And thank you. I want to thank Jimmy and of course McShin and all of my staff because like, believe it or not, we believe in this. What we do, we believe in it. Having you in here and working on you better than warehousing you and watching you do all the stupid shit y'all do. You know what I'm saying? It's so much better to watch you working on yourself and creating a plan. And anybody that hasn't reached out to us to ask us, because it's biblical, you have not because you ask not. All right? So if you don't want to learn that one principle and thrive on that and go from here, you have not because you ask not. But don't come to us with no BS because a lot of us been doing this so many years, we can smell it when it's near. All right?
How you going to do them books?
Make sure they have it. Hopefully, the concept of sharing is caring will prosper, but we'll look at ordering. I will commit to getting with my folks and ordering some more books so that we can get.
I think you're going to get 3 equal stacks. You go back to the pods, read Jimmy's book, pass it around, share it. It's cool to share. If you got a book and you want Jimmy to sign it, he'll stand over here and sign your book. Jimmy, you go right over there and sign a book if somebody wants it signed. The ones that got the birthday books could probably get one signed.